Yeah, that's true.
My father stabbed me when I was 12 with
With what?
the steak knife, actually.
You know
What?
better than that.
How did you provoke your father? How are you bad?
What? Why do you think what do you think I was? Oh man, I provoked him back.
I've known you
What
for
it
2
was-
hours and 20 minutes now. It's a good guess.
Were you not talking into your microphone and he had enough?
my uncle had just gotten out of prison. All right,
Uh-huh.
he'd been in prison for 20 years.
Your father's
He-
showing off. Just trying to
and
look cool.
Remember Chester the Molester, the cartoon character?
Sure.
My uncle Bobby looked like Chester the Molester. I was like 12, and my father hadn't come to the house. I was like, and him and my father went out over the hill. We're in Massachusetts, so I went to New York City to buy some beer. They got drunk. They took the family car. Bobby comes back. I'm waiting to go to Little League practice. Uncle Bobby's in the car. He hasn't driven in 20 years. Mm-hmm. Both drunk as shit. They smashed the car into a tree in front of our house. So now I'm not going to baseball practice, and I'm shitty about it. We're at dinner, and my Uncle Bobby had a stutter. He talked like, hey, Jim. And I'm 12, and I'm a smart ass, and my sister's got big knockers, right? And Bobby, hey, can I date Karen? And I'm like, my father, they're just hammered, and I start fucking with my Uncle Bobby. Hey, Bobby, pass her, and my father just cut it out, you. My mother used to keep this tree of cups, coffee cups in the middle, and one of those steak knife holders in the carousel. My father gets up, comes over the table, and he swipes at the cups, and I grab it and I fucking throw it at him. And my father, and I pop him right in the head. My father grabs a steak knife and he lunges across the table, and I jump up and boom, right there right in the oblique, right? And the fucking thing's like wiggling, right? And I'm fucking pushing. I hit my father with a glass, with a cup. And finally,
Jesus Christ!
I'm out of here. And that was I took off, man. I had a fort down by the river where I lived. Went there for 3 days, man. I wasn't hanging out talking to anybody. I just ran away.
My takeaway from that story: you owe me an apology. I knew it was you. I knew you did something.
The stutterer. So it couldn't have gone in very deep if you were able to hang out for 3 days.
Well, what happened was it was about maybe an inch and a half, but it's right here. It's like he caught me right, and it got under the skin, so it hit the oblique and bounced off my hip muscle and got caught in the flesh, right? But it was in pretty deep, and I couldn't. It was like wiggling, so I ran. I went down to the fort, and I was trying to get it out, but it was serrated. So, and I was like, ugh. I kind of got it out, and I had like all kind of fishing gear, like fishing hooks and nylon wire. So I kind of like took it, and I took the hook, and I kind of knocked the barb off, and I kind of like 4 stitches in there.
None of this happened.
You're calling bullshit on this, Kyle?
None of this happened. How old were you when you Rambo-style sewed your stomach together?
Look at this. I'm from a rural place, right? Grew up in Rivers.
I don't know what that's like at all.
This is commonplace where I'm from. A lot of drunk people, like getting cut. You get cut, you get your head split open. I got kicked in the face with a hockey skate right there, and it split my face open. My coach took white tape, wrapped it around my head, and put me. I didn't miss a shift. That was me at 9 or 10 years old. So by the time this happened, I got cut. I got beat up all the time, man. And my father was just a nightmare.
Do you have a good relationship with your dad now? Or
he's dead.
I don't know if he's alive or not. Oh, he's dead. Too much drinking and swinging knives around. Did anything like that happen again?
No. I was like, I didn't go back home for like a week. Kind of, I stayed in the fort, and then went to my grandfather's house, and then Uncle Bobby went away, and we just kind of, we weren't a family that talked about shit. It's like I just kind of came home one day, and he's sitting there, he's always at work, and he's at the factory or at the bar or in jail or something. So I come home, I avoid him. I think I avoided him for like a month. Had my eye contact. Fine, I need a ride to practice. All right, get in the car. So that's kind of how it was. I sat there and say, I probably didn't talk to him for the rest of my life.
Was your dad in and out of jail, you said?
Yeah. He had issues.
What did he go in for? I mean, violent stuff, it sounds like.
Had bar fights. He was he's gotten a lot of angry guy. Bar fights, petty criminal. He stole some shit, and but we were lucky because it's a small town. So you go in, and some of the people I know were law enforcement or judiciary, so we kind of had help. And then a lot of times they just put him in a nut house. They take him over and put him in a place called Jones, which is a psychiatric ward at the local hospital. So he spent a lot of time in there.
I bet everyone here has had a concussion, like a little one at least. You're okay. You're okay the next day, as long as you're not knocked unconscious. I've been knocked unconscious, and you're fucked up for the rest of the day.
I got hit.
But if you get wobbled a little, you're all right. You're all right. I've been wobbled boxing. It's like, ooh, that was a little weird. I can still drive a car. This guy got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, this guy, usually even when somebody gets knocked out, it's like they're back with it in a few seconds. Like,
yeah,
I have not seen somebody get ragdolled like that in forever. And it's the worst kind of like ragdolling because like this guy didn't see it at all. He'd already taken the hit and was like just getting back up for the next play, and then takes a fucking lower, ankle to the head from Corey Perry. That's, dude.
I got
like, that's like,
knocked out in hockey once, and I have a gap in my memory. I remember the hit. I remember that my knee was injured. I blew my ACL in that play, and then the next memory is walking to the car, and like what a struggle it was. I used a hockey stick like as a crutch, kind of like I was. It really sucked. That was a bad.
Yeah,
night.
I've been like flash knocked out boxing, like not where you wake up looking at the sky, but like where like you get hit and then you're sitting on your butt and you're looking at the other guy like, oh, there's a little bit of time there that didn't happen, huh?
Yeah, no, the whole thing about
why are we boxing
into street clothes and stuff, like I lost that.
Did you ever get knocked out so bad you lost pieces of the game, James?
Lost 4 days of my life.
How'd that happen?
We have a winner.
Ding, ding.
Who would have thought that
here? I got a scar right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got hit I was playing defense. I come around the guy, kind of push him off the crease, and guy at the point was winding up with a slap shot, and I come right around him and look up, and it pinged me right in the forehead. All I remember is like all of a sudden everything just stopped. It froze. I heard a voice in my head. Hey man, I go, what's up? He goes, you just got hit by a puck. I go, no shit. Am I hurt? He goes, yeah. I go, what do I do? He goes, I fall down, roll around. All right. Now what do I do? No. This is a conversation in my head at this time, all right?
With no one.
With no
just
one.
You. In my head. These are two voices in my head. I'm talking to myself. I go, yes, now what do I do? He goes, okay, roll around. Okay, now what? Put your hand on your head and let him know you're hurt. I go, okay. And then next thing I know, I see the trainer. She's over there. Oh, gee, they take my helmet off. They undo my helmet because I'm bleeding and everything. And I just remember lights. And then I remember Beth, my trainer. She comes over to where, to the room, and she goes, you all right? I go, yeah, is the game over? She goes, James, what day do you think it is? I go, it's Saturday. We're playing. He goes, it's Wednesday. You've been coming to practice, and that is in college. You've been taking classes and coming to practice, and it's like you just didn't show up for 2 days. We make sure. Okay, I go, Beth, it's Saturday. It's not Wednesday. I just don't remember anything about 4 days of my life. I just remember that very distinct conversation in my head. So I was talking to somebody in my head.
That's fascinating.
And I'm talking to you. It's a real and I saw the game film. It was like that. That whole moment from the time I got pinged to the time my phone was rolling around, it was like bing, bing. But in my head, it probably took 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's like a dream where you'll have a dream for 3 minutes and it feels like you watched a whole epic of a movie.
So what did you do during the 4 days that were lost? You attended classes, you went to practice, and people didn't observe that you were weirdo during those 4 days.
That's why, yeah, but that's kind of odd anyway, so it wasn't like it was acting out of character.
I can see that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But
that's fascinating.
Wow, James the part about bleeding out of his ears again in class.
The part where there's some sort of binary system in your brain where there are two of you to go back and forth is really fascinating to me. I wonder if there's some sort of like scientific explanation for that. Like that. That's really cool.
Yeah,
I've done something.
I've had it.
Similar.
I've had that a couple times. I had that. I was climbing a mountain. I hit an ice patch going on. There's a Arapahoe Glacier up in Colorado, and I wasn't paying attention. I was coming on icy, and I started sliding down the side of the hill. And this is like 1,000-foot precipice, drop off. And I just like, oh shit, you're gonna die. I go, no, I don't want to die. He said, well, okay, what are you gonna do? I don't know. Grab that tree over there. And I stuck my arm out and I just hung off, kind of swung off the cliff, hanging onto this tree. And the same exact thing. Everything slowed down to a crawl. And something's like, hey, but you're in trouble here, dude. You better grab something. Wait a minute, you're gonna die. I go, shit, what do I do? All right, listen. Don't grab that tree, right? That tree there. Grab that tree. I reached out, and that was it. But it was a definite conversation going. I was having with somebody. It's like I'm having with you guys.
Thank God you had that guy in your head, or you would have died.
You guys have never had that?
The closest I've had to that is this weird thing. When I was 4, I fell out of a shopping cart, and I hit my head on, those things they hang products on, like at Walmart or whatever, those little metal things that stick out. Well, that hit my head and like split my scalp open, like I have a big long scar that goes across the top of my head. And so when I was under anesthesia, getting my and also the edge of the shopping cart, how it's got like, it's kind of sharp, like it's the edge of a shopping cart still has those spikes that come up a little bit. Those went between my gum and my lip and separated that to my nose. Oh. So like I can go way up in there now because it goes all the way to my nose. I can touch the bottom of my nose when I stick my finger in there. So that happened.
I can't. I've never tried.
Yeah, they didn't know why I was spitting up blood until they looked. So they had to put me under general anesthetic, and I'm like 4 or 5 years old, and I had this vivid dream of being in a completely black existence, except for a spotlight shining down from above onto a black man who was in a bird cage, and the black man is in the bird cage telling me everything's going to be okay.
What media had you been consuming?
I had never seen any media remotely like
classic Disney film.
That is as close to
Man and the Bird Cage.
That is as close to a like religious experience as I've ever come. Like maybe it was Morgan Freeman. Maybe Morgan Freeman is God. Yeah, God but I was in a completely black, not even a room. Just the existence was blackness, and there was one spotlight shining down from above onto this bird cage, an enormous man-sized bird cage, like Tweety Bird's bird cage from the cartoons. And there was a black man in it suspended from the floor, and I was looking up at him, and he was telling me everything was going to be okay. And that is bizarre for a 4 or 5. I was literally 4 or 5, like because I'm young enough that I'm not allowed to walk, in a store.
Yeah, that's bizarre. You would think you would have pictured your mom or dad or just someone in your life, not a random black man.
And the thing is, like I didn't know any black men as a 4-year-old. Like I didn't know any. You know how Hank Hill's dog, like they think it's racist. like that was me. Like there just were no black men in my life. Like my dad didn't have any employees who were black. I'm only 4. How many people do I know anyway? And so like I didn't know any. So it was very bizarre to dream that or see that, I guess, whatever it was.
I've never had an experience like that, like hitting my head that hard that it like shook me in that way. Thankfully. Sounds awful. I know, concussions, once you get past a certain number, like you're just kind of fucked. Like,
you know about Frankie Muniz?
Yeah, doesn't he like not remember huge amounts of filming for?
He doesn't remember any of Malcolm in the Middle.
Well, Frankie Muniz. You know what? He gets to watch that show like he wasn't in it. That's great.
Frankie Muniz, who played Malcolm in Malcolm in the Middle, a wonderful show, by the way.
It's a good show.
Has sustained several severe concussions in his life. I didn't look into like how, like if he's like some sort of X Games fucking athlete or if he just had an abusive uncle. But in any case, he's been knocked in the head so many times. He doesn't remember the filming of that fucking show. That was like years. That show went on for at least 4 or 5 seasons. I liked it. It was a good show. When I was a kid, it was one of my favorite shows.
How old is he? Too young to have severe memory loss.
He looks like he's probably 30.
He's 35.
Looks
like your age, yeah.
Yeah.
All sorts of things.
You guys are fucking triggering me left and right here. Okay. I was 14. I'm riding home on my bicycle. I get this fucking horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach, right? I drive up. There's this little bar by my house called Carnoots. And I just had this, just going home always sucked. And I just had this bad feeling. Of course, I'm driving my car notes, and there's this big crowd out in the parking lot. And I just, oh no, I drive up. There's my father having a fight with this old drunk, a guy like in his 60s, right? This big old dude. And my father's losing, all right? So it's like I'm watching. And worst thing is, back in the day, getting T-shirts that had school names on was a big deal. We had played at Hotchkiss Prep School, and I stole this great T-shirt, Hotchkiss Prep on it, right? And it's my favorite T-shirt. My father's wearing it, and it's torn and it's bloodied. And I go up, and I'm standing there, like everybody go, "Your father's getting his ass kicked." I go, "Fuck, go ahead, Fred. Have a good night, man."
Jesus Christ! So he ruined your shirt, and he probably took it out on you a little bit later, because you probably weren't winning fights.
By that time, I could kick his ass, so it stopped.
So were you? Did you struggle in school? I
was good in school.
You're good in school. A lot of times, kids who have trouble at home have trouble outside the home too.
I was hell bent on getting out of there. I was going to use any mode necessary. So education was the. I got a scholarship to go to a local parochial school.
Athletic or
yeah,
academic. Okay.
And the academics were great. And it also got me out of the public school, which is a lot, and a lot of distractions. There's a lot of racial divide, a lot of problems. I was always dodging the black kids, always dodging. I had a target on my back. So going to this private school, I wasn't living there, but going other side, it gave me an opportunity to actually not be in that world anymore. And I just wish I learned how to type, though. There's one thing I wish I really took advantage of.
Yeah. So you were the voice actor in Black Ops 1, 2, 4? No, 3. I noticed that. Did your guy die in 3?
No. I have no idea what happened there. They're 1, 2, 4, Black Ops 4, Blackout, and Declassified. What happened with 3 and Coldwater? It's a mystery. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't either. I didn't play the 4th one. Did you ever play them, or did you just show up for work and be like, "Oh, you can't fucking come at me like that"? Did you know it was happening at a given level, or they tell you like, "All right, you're gonna tell Moose that he can't, get the diamond soon enough"?
Moose, get the diamond soon. What game was that?
I don't know. Pull your mic in front of your mouth. Just do it. Just do it all the way. But yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
You're a voice actor, right?
Yeah. What? Ooh, I make really? No, man. I had. You guys, can you hear me or not?
Yeah. I can hear you. It just gets better when you're closer, when you're talking to the mic.
Yeah, man. I tell you what. I had no idea what I was getting into. I thought it was just a gig. I almost turned the job down. It was originally I got hired to test the technology for performance capture. They hadn't done it before. September 2009, they needed some guy with weapons training, some stunt training, and I fit the bill. They brought me in, and they just liked me. They really didn't want a nobody in the park. I had just begun acting. I'd been acting about 4 or 5 years, so I was pretty new, and I think they wanted a celeb in there because they're trying to beef things up, and then somehow, it's
you won them over. Yeah. Hey, so did you have actual military experience, like real life? You said you had weapons training.
I do not. No, but I grew up around guns. I spent a lot of time around the military. I do a lot of these parts anyways, and as a professional hockey player and coach. So that idea of teamwork, camaraderie, that ball busting kind of alpha thing that you sense out of the Woods character, that's kind of organic to where I came from,
So, but the character you play is the military guy. So
Woods? Oh yeah.
You don't feel like that's a stolen valor issue? I mean, I'm offended.
I spend a lot of time with the U.S. military. They've flown us. I've been in Afghanistan. They've flown us all over the world.
This is the "I have a black friend" defense of stolen valor.
I used to struggle with that. I used to think that.
What? Why would you?
Well, because the amount of amount of adulation I receive for this character is ridiculous. And like I said, I've been in a combat zone. I've been in Afghanistan. I see what these guys go through. I've been in rooms with guys who have just been shot in Pakistan. So the most humbling moment in my life, we walk in to hand out our little cards and shit. Here's a guy with 3 fucking bullets in him. And I'm like, I have nothing to say to this guy. I play at it. This is the real thing. So
are you tempted at all to use like your voice and be like, "You'll get through this, soldier"?
Oh, fuck no. Fuck no.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
Get up. You can fuck up that bed.
That's awesome, man. That's hilarious.
No, man.
Yeah. So you mentioned you did stunt stuff as well. Did you do that before getting into the voice side of it? And like, what does that entail? Driving, jumping around, flips?
Here's the thing. I don't want to present myself as a voice actor. Woods is primarily action. I mean, live action. Everything you see Woods do basically happened on a set someplace with other people, like TV or a movie. Same thing. I didn't spend a lot of time in the box, just barking shit out. I actually, had a lot of great actors around me, so we could interact a little bit. The stunt training came in handy. I'm a precision driver. I'm very athletic. I'm in shape, so rolling and taking punches and fighting people. I got fighting skills. So being able to do all that stuff is, stunt training. I'm not jumping off of fucking buildings.
Yeah.
I mean, I can take a hit. You can throw me on a pad. I can take care of myself in a tussle. So that's what I mean by that. So that was an element of the character that was needed. But to be able to do that was have the physical confidence to move well. Like I have actually.
I've never asked an actual stunt guy about it, but like I know we've talked about this before, the three of us, where like when someone like Tom Cruise is like, I do all my own stunts, nobody else can do my stunts. Is there a little bit of like, where it's like, come on, man, like it's an industry here. Like Vince Vaughn doesn't, jump off buildings, not just because he doesn't think he can do it, but also because like, there's a bunch of people here whose job it is to do that.
Well, let me predicate this. I am not a stuntman by trade. I have stunt capabilities. So let's predicate that. I don't make my living as a stuntman. That's why I almost didn't take the job to begin with. I didn't want to be a stuntman. These guys like pro athletes, man, they get hurt a lot, which is why I know the mystique around Cruise and his stunt things, but he's very smart. He also knows that he cannot take an injury because if he goes down, the whole movie goes down, and that's millions of dollars a day. So yes, he does a certain amount of stunts, but there is a lot of substitution because he can't afford to lose him. I don't really know him, but I know people who are, and he's a remark. They talk about Wayne Gretzky. You put him over there, he's different. He's just a super high achieving guy, and he's smart enough to know how to take care of himself on set.
He broke his leg in Mission Impossible, though, right?
Yes, he
Ankle
did.
or something, yeah.
And that cost him tens of millions of dollars because he is the driving force.
I feel like you called him selfish for putting stuntmen out of work.
Maybe.
Well, okay.
How dare you say that about Mr. Cruise?
Yeah, Mr. Cruise is not to be questioned.
This is the Tom Cruise.
Nor is his church.
This is the Tom Cruise fanboy podcast. That's all we discuss here is Tom Cruise and how wonderful he is.
Reagan got rid of those, didn't he? All those psych wards. Wasn't that a big thing that he
Turned
took
them loose,
for?
put them out on the street.
Yeah, and then like a lot of them ended, or just like put them in prison. Maybe that's an exaggeration. Maybe it was like he's releasing these insane people, and then they go out in the world and they commit crimes, or they're homeless and like do something transient or illegal, and then they're thrown into prison with like real criminals, and it's just like someone who had a paranoid schizophrenia. Did you ever hear about that, Woody?
Yeah. This is, as far as I know, that's all right.
Yeah. Because are they back now? Like they don't really.
I don't think so.
I don't think there are mental
undone.
No,
I
no,
feel like that's
it's
what
a real
homeless are
problem.
oftentimes. People
For sure.
who are,
I was just downtown last week. I'm making a music video, and I went down to shoot some video down there. And again, I spent some time with my father. He exposed me to this type of this psychosis, really.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very recognizable. The gait, the way you walk, the way you carry yourself, all the indicators are. 99% of the people I saw downtown, and I saw hundreds. I mean, it's a downtown LA has blocks and blocks of tent villages, and the gait, the walk, you can tell some are on medications. They just kind of not. There's no reality. There's thousands of them down there, and those are the individuals that should be sort of being helped in an institution someplace, but they don't exist. We have an old prison that could easily be transitioned into some type of facility to help these folks, but we don't have the political will to say, look, let's put them in there, get them help, get them treatment, but we don't want to. But it's about their dignity. They're you don't want to infringe on their dignity. Well, you live in a fucking street. Where's the dignity in that?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's. I mean, a lot of it. Very few people that I believe on the street that I've run into are there because they want to be, or because they have a choice not to be. It's not,
or even if they are making that choice, they're not capable of making that choice, really.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, when I was in Seattle, that's the worst I've ever. I mean, I've seen the tent villages in LA, and it's awful. But there was something about seeing them in Seattle, where like we went down by, I don't know if it's called the wharf or whatever, but it's like down by the water where all the there's like a carousel, and like it's where all those seafood restaurants are. It's a real nice little trendy area, and we all went down there for dinner. And then we started walking back to the hotel. It's maybe half a mile walk. Like everything's uphill in Seattle for some reason. And like we just walked through this area, and there they are. They're just coming out of the shadows like a Michael Jackson Thriller video. Just like 80, 90 of them. Just like walk. And I don't know if it was like methadone night or like they were all heading toward the same place for some reason or another. But it was ridiculous. And then the same thing in Atlanta. Whenever I picked Chiz up from the bus station that time, they were having they had the food truck out there that was giving away like the meals for all the homeless, these styrofoam plate meals, and there must have been between 50 and 100 of them like lined up getting these meals. And then you could see them like they get the meal, and it was probably like a sandwich and some chips and an apple or something like that, because like they eat it rapidly and then throw the fucking styrofoam plate on the ground. And so you just saw them like tumbling in the wind every fucking where all throughout like that park area. It was absurd. Super fucked up. That's where like Chiz got off the bus or train or whatever the fuck it was, whatever mode of transportation from the 1800s he picked that week.
horse and carriage.
He got off the fucking carriage and like immediately got propositioned for weed. Like he's like, I just had stepped foot into the state of Georgia, and this guy was like, yo, you want some weed? And I was like, just everywhere.
I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I guess. I'm not gonna say no.
I took the bus so I could bring my own, bud.